So this one's gonna be about, well, not actually procrastinating or procrastination, which was something that I wanted to go through, but then I've seen like, okay, productivity is also a thing, and I haven't been talking about productivity that much, and therefore it's gonna be about productivity. Which is great, because productivity is something I guess at least some people are kinda, struggling with or kinda focusing on as well. Even though I'd also have to say that the whole productivity thing and the whole efficiency thing, more the efficiency thing as the productivity thing, it is just really one of the things that, people say like, please don't work hard, you just have to work efficient and something like this. But I not pretty much agree with that, because I believe that, working efficient is totally fine. It is totally good. You should work efficient. You should not waste a lot of time with doing some things that actually do not matter. But the thing is, just please step up your efficiency. Be more efficient today than you were yesterday. Just do it. Just do it. It's not going to be possible, because I guess, there's some progress behind being and or getting more efficient. On the other hand, if it's when it would be about, just working harder and working more, which is the same maybe as working hard, well, it is pretty fucking easy to do it. You can just work more the next day. If it is more efficient or not, doesn't fucking matter. But you're working more. You're working harder. And this is the case. This is the point that I'm willing to make. Working harder is such an easy thing. You can just work harder. You can just do it. On the other hand, just being more efficient from just one day to another day is not that easy. It is something different. It is for sure something different. The screen is actually there, or the window, to be quite frank here. This article from the jamesclear.com again website is how to be more productive and eliminate time-wasting activities by using the Eisenhower box. I don't know what the Eisenhower box is, so this is, I think, fairly something interesting, also for me to just see what it actually is. It is again from James Clear himself, so I do think on his website there are only articles by him, which leaves me thinking why he's actually kind of just pointing that out, that this article is actually by him. But I'm going to read. Dwight Eisenhower, I think it's Dwight, I don't know, I guess it's Dwight, it's D-W-I-G-E-T. Eisenhower lived one of the most productive lives you can imagine. Eisenhower was the 34th President of the United States, serving 2 terms from 1953 to 1961. During his time in office, he launched programs that directly led to development of the interstate highway system in the United States, the launch of the Internet, or DARPA, or D-A-R-P-A, the exploration of space, NASA, and the peaceful use of alternative energy sources, Atomic Energy Act. I don't know what the Atomic Energy Act actually is, but what I was just thinking about, which would just be nice. If you know this, just put it down in the comments. It would be just amazing to know, or hit me up. I could just Google it, but I guess if you know it, hit me up. Has there ever been a president that only served for 1 term? Because most of the time, I guess they are just actually having 2 terms. Which is apparently 7-8 years. And 1 term, I think, is 4 years, if I remember correctly, or if I know that correctly, actually. Has there ever been one that only just was the president for 4 years? Because I guess so. I only remember just Bush, Kennedy, Obama, Trump, obviously. Wasn't Winston Churchill also a president of the United States? Oh, I think I just said something completely fucked up. Churchill Carly. No, I do not want to... Winston Churchill was a British politician. United Kingdom. I'm very sorry for saying that. I didn't know that. I'm really not educated in history that much. I'm really not. Well, yeah. This will probably be one of the things that I would cut out, but because I'm not cutting out anything, I'm just not going to do it. So yeah, yeah. Why is this not working? Like, oh, I moved it. I'm such an amazingly intelligent person. Fucking good. Why do I always just... Well, not always, but why do I sometimes mess up things? Like, please subscribe. If you're new to the podcast, if you're new to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. Would just mean the world to me. Yeah. Before becoming president, Eisenhower was a 5-star general in the United States Army, served as the supreme commander of the Allied forces in Europe during World War II, and was responsible for planning and executing invasions of North Africa, France, and Germany. At other points, which was a pretty good thing, because I guess, they saved a lot of fucking lives. Really amazing. So at other points along the way, he served as president of Columbia University, became the first supreme commander of NATO, or NATO, and somehow found time to pursue hobbies like golfing and oil painting. Eisenhower had an incredible ability to sustain his productivity not just for weeks or months, but for decades. And for that reason, it is no surprise that his methods for time management, task management, and productivity have been studied by many people. His most famous productivity strategy is known as the Eisenhower box or Eisenhower matrix, and it is a simple decision-making tool that you can use right now. Let's talk about how to be more productive and how Eisenhower's strategy works. And as you can see once again, something that I will always, I think, point out. Here again, James Clear used a pretty neat story to introduce the whole topic, which is amazing. Stories in such a form, stories for the beginning of articles, stories, well, in such cases, they're just amazingly good. They just really it's a pretty good introduction, or, yeah, it's an introduction to the whole topic. I really like it. I really deeply like it. And I also pretty much appreciate it. It's just incredibly nice. Well, yeah, it is nice. It's pretty nice. Nothing to be said, but it is just truly nice. So the Eisenhower box, and I just really... I think I remember the whole Churchill thing for way longer than the next, 15 seconds. But well, I think I'm gonna remember this just, in 2 years. I've been saying like Churchill was the president of the United States. Never mind. But I know that he was just such an incredibly important person in history, but I don't know why. And I also know that there were just a lot of quotes, from him that most of them I do not quite get, and I do not think that they're so good. But apparently there are just a lot of people who think that they're just amazingly good quotes and sayings and, whatever you're referring to. So the Eisenhower box, how to be more productive. Eisenhower's strategy for taking action and organizing your tasks is simple. Using the decision matrix below, you will separate your actions based on 4 possibilities. Urgent and important, tasks you will do immediately. Important but not urgent, tasks you will schedule to do later. Urgent but not important, tasks you will delegate to someone else. And neither urgent nor important, which are tasks that you will eliminate. The great things about the matrix, or about this matrix, is that it can be used for broad productivity plans. How should I spend my time each week? And for smaller daily plans, what should I do today? So here's an example of what my Eisenhower box looks like for today, which is pretty interesting, I guess. Let's actually take this one and I'll show it to you in a little bit of bigger form, I hope at least. Does this make anything better? Nah. Well, it is still quite small, to be honest. But I guess you can read it. So, the Eisenhower box. So it is a matrix. Is it 4x4? Is it a 2x2? So it's apparently is 4 boxes, and each box has a headline, which makes it 8 boxes in general. But yeah. So there is a do box, there is a decide box, there is a delegate box, and there is a delete box. Do, which is do it now. Decide is schedule a time to do it. Delegate is who can I do it for you, or who can do it for you. And the last one is eliminate it. So do it now, or the do thing, the urgent thing is write article for today. The decide thing is, which is schedule time to do it, exercising, calling family and friends, researching articles, and long-term biz strategy, which I guess is business, isn't it? Delegate, scheduling interviews, booking flights, improving comments, answering certain emails, and sharing articles. Delete thing, watching television, checking social media, and sorting through junk mail. Well, yeah, at least the last one, sorting through junk mail, is just such a waste of time. You really should not do it. But with the whole watching television thing, and with the whole kind of leisure thing, you do need leisure. You just need leisure. I need leisure as well. Everybody needs leisure. It depends on who you are, what you're doing, and what you're working on. If what you're working on is just so incredibly nice for you that you will just do it anyways, that you would do it just without getting paid for it, and whatsoever, then I somehow think that you do not need as much leisure as someone who actually works on something that they absolutely fucking hate. Because, it would really drown you, I guess. It would really drown you. If you would just, constantly be working on something that you just actually do not care about, something that you hate, something that is not pretty nice for you, and all those things. Like all those things. At least I believe so. So I created a spreadsheet template of the Eisenhower box. You can download that spreadsheet template for your own use at the bottom of this article, which is nice, which is extremely nice. So the difference between urgent and important. What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important, from Dwight Eisenhower. Urgent tasks are things that you feel like you need to react to. Emails, phone calls, texts, new stories. Meanwhile, in the words of Brett McKay, important tasks are things that contribute to our long-term mission, values, and goals. Separating these differences is simple enough to do once, but doing so continually can be tough. The reason I like the Eisenhower matrix is that it provides a clear framework for making the decision over and over again. And like anything in life, consistency is the hard part. Yeah, that's true. So here are some other observations I've made from using this method. Elimination. Is it elimination? It just sounds so weird at the moment. Elimination. Well, elimination before optimization. A few years ago, I was reading about computer programming when I came across an interesting quote. There is no code faster than no code, which is apparently pretty true. Because you always have to decipher codes, and this is the problem. If there is no code, there is nothing to decipher or to decipher. Well, you know what I mean. Which means if there is no code, nobody just needs to decipher it, which means, there's one step you do not have to do, which saves, or would probably save some time. At least this is my interpretation of, this quote. It could just mean something completely different. I don't know. But this is what I'm assuming. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm saying. So, in other words, the fastest way to get something done, whether it is having a computer read a line of code or crossing a task off your to-do list, is to eliminate that task entirely. Makes sense. It makes sense. There is no faster way to do something than not doing it at all. It sounds so obvious, and it sounds so stupid as well somehow, but it is just the case, And also, all those obvious things and all those things, I kind of believe sometimes that, everybody knows them, are apparently sometimes even the things that nobody knows or a lot of people forget about, which is then a shame, because most often these are just also very important. Yeah. So that's not a reason to be lazy, but rather a suggestion to force yourself to make hard decisions and delete any task that does not lead you toward your mission, your values, and your goals. Too often we use productivity, time management, and optimization as an excuse to avoid the really difficult question: do I actually need to be doing this? It is much easier to remain busy and tell yourself that you just need to be a little more efficient or to work a little later tonight than to endure the pain of eliminating a task that you are comfortable with doing but that isn't the highest and best use of your time. It is actually true. And I guess I'm doing a lot of these things. I might be doing a lot of things that actually are not worth my time. I just, I do not want to say useless because they for sure have a use, but maybe, they're not as important. I still just really kind of keep attention to how I use my time because I do only have 24 hours a day, which is I think the problem. If I would have just 48 hours a day, it would be something completely different. I would just manage my day, I think, somehow differently. It would just be different. It would just really be different. I think I would just not feel so exhausted, at least sometimes. So it is much easier to remain busy and tell yourself that you just need to be a little more efficient or to work a little. Oh, I read that. So as Tim Ferriss says, being busy is a form of laziness, lazy thinking, and indiscriminate action. I find that the Eisenhower matrix is particularly useful because it pushes me to question whether an action is really necessary, which means I'm likely to move tasks to the delete quadrant rather than mindlessly repeating them. And to be honest, if you simply eliminate all of the things you waste time on each day, then you probably wouldn't need any tips on how to be more productive at the things that matter. Does this help me accomplish my goal? One final note. It can be hard to eliminate time-wasting activities if you aren't sure what you are working toward. In my experience, there are 2 questions that can help clarify the entire process behind the Eisenhower box. Well, I particularly find in general that asking yourself way more questions is just a really great thing, because what I've noticed is that questions like, am I happy? Am I feeling good? What is my well-being like? Am I feeling good? Questions like this, and also questions like, okay, have I just given something back to the world today? One of my favorite questions, apparently, because it is just so true. And I think it's just one of the questions, a lot of people should ask themselves way more. Because actually, a lot of people just take and take and take and take without giving anything, which is not bad, because there just must be some people that are only taking. For those people that are just, giving, I guess. Which is actually a pretty interesting thing, because I've been talking about this certain kind of... I want to say system, I think, in Give and Take by Adam Grant. I think it's actually Adam Grant Give and Take. Actually, let me have a look. If I just got that right, then Adam Grant. I think it is right. I think it is actually right. It is, oh my god, oh my fucking god, it is actually the right thing. It's actually the right person. It's just amazing. It's just pretty hard for me to actually remember things, but I think this was one of the longest, it was actually from the alancheng.com website, one of the longest summaries that I went through up to today, I guess, or it was just one of the longer ones, and it was just a good one. It was really a good one. There was just a lot to learn from that. Especially because I just like this. I like this thing. I like to give, I guess. But I still also like to get, which then is a matcher. A matcher is someone who just likes to give, but also wants to get some things. A giver is someone who gives, and a taker is someone who only takes. The best thing you can be is actually a giver. Just giving away, especially without expectations, I would say. If you do not have any expectations for what you're getting, I think this is just a great place to be in. It just really is a great place. But yeah, I'll move ahead. So those 2 questions are, what am I working toward? And what are the core values that drive my life? These are questions that I have asked myself in my annual review and my integrity report. Answering these questions has helped me clarify the categories from certain tasks in my life. Deciding which tasks to do and which tasks to delete becomes much easier when you are clear about what is important to you. The Eisenhower matrix isn't a perfect strategy, but I have found it to be a useful decision-making tool for increasing my productivity and eliminating the behaviors that take up mental energy, waste time, and rarely move me toward my goal. I hope you'll find it useful too. The free download is here. You do just have to type in your email, which is, I think, totally okay. Well, you pay with your data in the end. I'm also going to read the footnotes. Thanks to Brett McKay at The Art of Manliness for his post on the Eisenhower box. So The Art of Manliness seems to be another blog. The term highest and best use is a real estate concept for finding the most valuable use of a piece of property. My friend Mark Heckman is a fan of using the phrase for personal time management, and I like it too. So thanks, Mark. The third one is for other useful productivity tips. Check out this article summarizing Scott Hesselman's work. So yeah, the link to this article is going to be in the description. If you want to check out, especially also the free download and whatsoever, you can do that by just going into my into the what is it called, description box. Is it description box? Well, it is in the description. Anyway, I guess it is just a pretty interesting concept. Even though I do just have to say, I think this is just nothing, too new, I guess, somehow. Well, I don't know. I think the hardest part is actually just deciding what you do not want to do and what you should be doing and whatsoever. Because it is just pretty tough. I assume it is. Because, I struggle with it as well. The thing that still bothers me is the whole watching television thing, because I believe it is totally okay to have leisure. And I guess everybody needs escapism and leisure. So yeah, but I understand that it's just a really time-wasting just thing if you just need to do something else. If you need to just work on something that's incredibly demanding or incredibly important for you, then of course watching television is totally a waste of time then. Yeah. I also like the thinking about what you can actually give to other people, because I certainly think that there's just a lot of things that you could actually just make somebody do for you, because it would, as you can see there, it totally is one of the things which is just really, really, really kind of just wasting a lot of time, just approving comments and answering emails. These are just all those things. I just really guess that a lot of people like to do those things. But yeah, these are those things that are just not so important, but you do just have to do. Is this? Well, yeah, it is actually not important, but it is urgent. Somebody needs to do them, but you actually do not want to do them because they're not too important. It is actually quite a great construct and quite a great concept, I guess. But I guess this episode is actually going to be not as long as the other ones. Yeah, maybe because it is better like this. I just want to see. And with that being said, I wish you the best health, happiness, and success. And I hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered, which is your legacy. Because you totally have it in your control. You basically decide how people are going to remember you. So yeah, even though, you can't serve everyone and not everyone is going to like you. But with that being said, thank you very much for listening and or watching. It depends. And I'll see you the next time, hopefully.